Now, I've seen quite a bit of talk or debate and quite a few theories about just who is this mysterious Inquisitor named Marrok that we're seeing in the Ahsoka series. Which, of course, immediately assumes that he is someone we've known from before or from somewhere else or would know for some reason. Many seem to just be assuming that there is some sort of surprise reveal awaiting us with him. Which, sure, could be the case, but doesn't have to be. We could just be looking at Marrok, a brand new character that is in no way related to any other character we've seen before. Short of being an Inquisitor, which, yeah, they do have some interesting history, of course. And it does seem a little odd that at this point in time, roughly 5 years after the fall of the Empire, whom the Inquisitors worked for, or more specifically Vader, that there would still be an actual Inquisitor running around. It does feel like something has to be up with him in some respect. Not to mention he didn't talk at all in the first 2 episodes, which is maybe, though not necessarily or automatically, a bit suspicious. Or seems like there could be a known identity he's trying to keep hidden from us, the audience. Or it could just be that, he simply didn't talk because it, I guess, makes him scarier or more intimidating and we're reading too much into his silence. Either way, it seems like one of the most popular theories out there right now is that he's actually Ezra Bridger. Which I really don't know about that one, because for me, it immediately leads to a bunch of questions, one of which being, if that's Ezra, what's his motivation right now? What exactly is he doing or trying to accomplish as this Inquisitor? Why is he seemingly working with Balon and Shin, and for Morgan Elsbeth, to help get to this other galaxy where Thrawn is and where he was? Which is really the key question, I feel. I mean, if that is Ezra, how did he get back and Thrawn didn't? And again, why does he care about getting Thrawn back? Shouldn't he be happy that he's trapped or lost out in this other galaxy where he can't harm this galaxy? And sure, while in this other galaxy for roughly 10 years together, depending on just when Ezra got back, if that is Ezra, it could be that the two of them begrudgingly became friends, or at the very least allies at some point. That Thrawn and Ezra had to team up for some reason. It could be that they developed some sort of common goal and began working together towards it, even beyond just them both wanting to make it back home. It could even be that Thrawn has made Ezra aware of some great threat that he's been trying to stop all along, and that is why he joined the Empire in the first place and wanted to stop the rebellion from stopping the Empire. He wanted them, the Empire, strong and undivided for what's to come. Which is actually all basically true. We've learned in the newest Thrawn novels that there is a race of beings out there in the unknown regions. They're called the Grisk, and they are a major threat. And they are the reason Thrawn joined the Empire, to basically see if they could ultimately be an ally for the Chiss Ascendancy in their battle against the Grisk. However, the big question with that is, even though, yes, that is part of the official canon, who knows if Dave Filoni is not only going to hold to that, but make it a rather important or key part of his story. He's been, shall we say, known to twist things in the canon here and there a bit, though the changes he's made thus far, in the new canon at least, have been relatively minor, you could say. This change would essentially retcon or ignore 2 entire trilogies of very popular and beloved books. So anyway, it could be that Ezra knows or thinks that Thrawn is the key to saving the galaxy from the Grisk, and that's why he's working to get him back. Though that doesn't exactly answer the question of why he doesn't try to, talk to Ahsoka, Hera, Sabine, and others about what he learned from Thrawn. Why didn't he contact any of them once he got back and explain what was going on? And sure, they might not and probably wouldn't believe him exactly, but you'd still think he'd try unless Thrawn had truly sort of brainwashed him against his friends, which I suppose is possible if they have spent that many years together. I mean, we have no idea what life has been like for those two in this other galaxy, what they've been up to, what they have faced, and so on. Another possibility with all this is that, yes, it's Ezra, and now he wants to make sure that Thrawn doesn't get back, so he's pretending to work with Balon and Shin in order to sabotage them. Though the biggest problem with that is, if he really wants to stop them from saving Thrawn, why not again just contact Sabine, Ahsoka, the New Republic, and everyone else? Why try to do it all by himself? And sure, maybe he's upset at all of them for not finding a way to rescue him. Ahsoka did promise to come and find him, and she didn't succeed, or at least she hasn't yet. So maybe he lost faith in them and has become someone different entirely. In fact, I think that's going to be the case one way or another, and to some degree. I think whenever they, meaning Ahsoka and Sabine, whenever they find Ezra, something is going to be wrong with him. Finding Ezra is only going to be the beginning of the story, in a manner of speaking. Oh, and as for how Ezra could have gotten back all on his own to become the mysterious Marrok, it could simply be that the Purrgil gave him a ride back, but wouldn't give one to Thrawn. I mean, it stands to reason that if the Purrgil did indeed cart him off to another galaxy, that they could also bring him back, unless that is the end of their journey, which is quite possible. But if that's the case, if the Purrgil could bring him back, it brings up a whole other question, that being, why'd they take him out there in the first place? Was there something they thought Ezra could help with in this other galaxy? And if so, are they really that intelligent? Not that I think they're mindless. Clearly they have a great deal of intelligence. That's demonstrated in the episode where Ezra and the others first encounter them and he makes contact with them. But what I'm saying is, would they really know about some problem in this other galaxy, and why would they think Ezra could save it? Do they have that level of comprehension and reasoning, and do they care that much about this other galaxy to save it? Which, sure, if it has something they need there, or it's their endpoint in their journey, that I suppose could be the case. Anyway, as I was saying, I've got my doubts about it being Ezra. I struggle to find what his motivation would be, and part of me thinks it'd fall flat to wait all this time for this search for Ezra to continue the story of Rebels, only to have him running around as an Inquisitor this whole time, or since he got back, whenever that might exactly be. But moving on, the other big theory I see about Marrok, or maybe I should say it's more of a hope than a real theory, because I'm not sure this one really makes any sense, or there's any proof or evidence to back it up. But there are those who suggest it could be Galen Marrok, also known as Starkiller. And this one, I really don't know about this one either. In fact, I think there's a much better chance it's Ezra, and I personally don't think there's much of a chance it's Ezra. And I think the biggest strike against this one, at least for me, is it really would only be Starkiller in name alone. Because if he's somehow still alive at this point and essentially still working for the bad guys, if you will, then he's nothing like the Starkiller from The Force Unleashed, is he? Unless this is just another clone of his. It'd mean that his story had been radically altered, and for what reason? Just to get him in here because it'd be cool, because it would be fan service? Not that I'm opposed to some level of fan service, but this one would be pretty egregious. Though you could, I suppose, sort of argue the same thing about Thrawn being used, right? That in all reality, this isn't the same Thrawn we knew from Legends. It's the name and a lot of the same traits, but it's not really the same character. However, there are parallels here, at least, between the two Thrawns. Like in Legends, it looks like this Thrawn will end up leading the Imperial Remnant and battle against the New Republic. And look, I'm not saying I'm totally against the idea of Starkiller. I'm just saying if you're going to use that character, if you're going to bring him into the new canon, you should bring him into the time period he belongs in and keep some of these former story beats the same at the very least, or really don't use the name. Though again, I really doubt this is going to be Starkiller anyway, though some have pointed out that, yeah, he went toe-to-toe with Ahsoka and gave her a real fight, certainly much more of a fight than we've seen out of Inquisitors before when taking on Ahsoka, which we saw back in Rebels. But I think that's because he's a rather skilled Inquisitor, or was. That's why he has survived while the others have not. And the Star Wars website agrees with that, I think. It has a description of this character that, unless meant to throw people off the scent, it says he is more or less just a mysterious former Inquisitor working for Morgan Elsbeth. And honestly, I think that's all he really is. I think, as we sometimes do in this fanbase, we create mysteries where none exist and find clues that aren't really there. Well, that's all I've got for this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell me what you think about this one. Is Marrok going to turn out to be Ezra, Starkiller, or someone else surprising that we know? Or is he just Marrok? Whatever you think, leave a comment below and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.